I realize it's been a while since I've really uploaded a video on here, so I figured I would talk about my Glock 19 Gen 3 that I put a lot of money into, but I absolutely love. So I guess we'll just start from the top down. I got the RM04 from Chirjicon, and that guy gives you, I doubt I'm going to be able to show you. Oh, you can see it. Yeah, it's got a nice big orange 7 MOA dot on there. I love it. It uses tritium. It uses tritium at night. I forget how it works, but anyway, it doesn't use battery is the whole point of it. So and I have a little piece of black tape going over the top there because it's so bright, even outside in the daylight, that it's a little bit over illuminated, so you can kind of tamper it down. Those of you that are used to the ACOG and whatnot, you probably have more of an understanding of what I'm talking about. I've never used that before, but I love this thing, and it's, I don't want to say bomb proof, but it's about as bomb proof as a site can get. I know it's not fully enclosed, but which I do love the fully enclosed ones, but I am just really digging it. And it's not great for shooting 100 yards or whatever, but this gun is going to be a little bit more of the grab and go kind of, last gun I would ever grab situation, even though I have a staccato, and I should probably say that. But so that's the optic, which I really, really like. I probably should have started with the slide, because this slide is done by Doug Presson, and he has just an amazing set of options that you can choose from. And I went with, and he has a Cerakote option as well, but he does the cuts and then he sends them off to one of his trusted companies for the Cerakoting. It was a little bit of a miscommunication with the Cerakoting. I was wanting a little bit more of an OD green with a silver topographical map look, but it came back, and you can't really see the top. You can see it a little bit in there, the topographical. It was my fault. Him and I talked on the phone, and I just kind of explained it a little incorrectly, but I like it, so I left it. But anyway, you can kind of have whatever done that you want. Whenever you go onto his website, you can really choose from just a whole bunch of options. And then you can also choose the different kind of cut options. So as you might know, on Gen 3 Glocks, there was not any kind of front serrations or anything. So, and I asked to leave on where you can actually see Glock 19. He can actually take those away if you wanted to, but I decided to leave them on. And then the top has this nice wavy design on it. I'm a press checker. I like to press check, so and I just like having a little something grippy right there, so I dig that. The sights, but anyway, just overall, I love the slide. It took a long time to come back. It took over a month or two for me to get that back, so I was waiting patiently. The sights are from Night Fission, Fision, and they illuminate really, really well at nighttime. And when I first got the slide back, I did not have any sights to put on it that would work, that would co-witness. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and I actually shot the gun a few times without any irons on it. I was just using the red dot, and it made me realize in my presentation of shooting my red dot how much I still use the irons as like an indexing point to find my red dot. So I hated shooting. I'm sure I would get used to it, but I hated shooting it without the irons on there. But I did not want to get a complete 1/3 co-witness on there, because I hated seeing the red dot just lined up perfectly with the front sight. So Night Fission offers a 1/5 co-witness, and it's just perfect. So it is. I don't know if I'll be able to show you guys. Yeah, I could probably show. Yeah, you see. So that's a good lined up sight picture right there, and then the red dot is above it a good bit, instead of it being like that, which is what I would hate. So I really like that option. I think Night Fission is what, I'm a Shadow Systems fan, and I think that's what they put on their guns as well. I could be wrong on that. So from the top, matched barrel, not matched barrel, but same barrel that came with the Glock 19 Gen 3. I did upgrade to a stainless steel guide rod, eBay. I'm sure I got that on eBay, I'm pretty sure. Slide catch is the same that came with it. I did change out, I always forget the name of this, slide lock or whatever, how you break the gun down. These are ramped up a little bit. Let's see, I don't know if you can, how well you can see that, but they're ramped a little bit just to make it a little bit easier to break down. I like it. It's made out of metal. They don't get in the way or anything. Something you guys probably noticed right off the bat was the stippling. So the stippling was done by Wick Actual at Johnny Glocks. Wick does all of the stippling down there for Johnny Glocks, and they're Florida. I'm in Florida. They're down in I think the Naples area of Florida, so they're a good 4 or 5 hours from me. But I shipped the frame down to him. You got to send some paperwork and whatnot just to verify everything, since the frame is the gun, not the slide. And I messaged him back and forth on Instagram, and kind of what I was looking for. I was kind of going for the Taran Tactical Terminal List package. It's like a gray. That gun is gray, but it has a very similar stippling pattern. I feel like Taran Tactical uses all laser stippling. They're not hand stippled. But anyway, Wick did a hand stippling on this, and I really like it. I think for future ones, I'm going to try it myself. I've stippled a little bit to not a whole lot of success, but I know it's not too difficult. Usually the Dremel is where I get in trouble, so I have to be very careful with that. But I think he did a great job, I really like the accentuation on the grips. I know a lot of you guys hate those, but for me and my hands, the way that my hands hold the gun, it is absolutely perfect, and it just completely melts into my hands like a glove. Sorry if you're hearing a lot of road noise. That's busy construction in my neighborhood. Okay, so I think that's it on the stippling. That's it for, and the accelerator cuts, which I really like. You can really kind of see how much they're sticking out from the sides there. So you got a nice shelf on both sides to really push your finger down on. I think it's a weak point on Glocks. I feel like even Shadow Systems, they do something there, but it's not as pronounced. Even Glocks do nothing. Most manufacturers do nothing. I think it's a weak point on a lot of guns coming from the factory. I think that since grip, obviously trigger is the most important, but trigger control, but grip is such a vital part of it, that I feel like from the factory they could do a better job at giving you something there to be giving some downforce. Since the gun is trying to kick back, you're kind of countering that. So anyway, that's just my opinion. But I did ask for that as well, and he did that, sent me some photos, and I asked him if he could stipple that section, and he stippled that section as well, so that way it all looks nice and uniform there. And I don't like this thing being green, by the way. You can't really tell, but it's a little bit of an OD green, but it is what it is. Inside, I think all I did, I'm sure that I put a Ghost connector on there. I think I did the Ghost Ultimate connector. They're like $20-$30, and it completely changes how your trigger feels. So if you need to have a stock trigger completely, don't change that out. But I love it, and I use the based on Johnny Glock's recommendation. I use the let me show you. And I am not going to edit this video. That's part of why I stopped uploading a little bit, is because I do photo video for a living. So having to do videos on the side as well, it's just like, it's a lot. This thing's leaking a little bit. I just noticed, but this is the stuff that I believe comes from the factory on Glocks. You'll notice that copper in there. It is Loctite LB8008. Copper-based anti-seize lubricant, and you don't use it everywhere, but Johnny Glock recommended that you put it, especially right there where you're getting a lot of action on the trigger. And every time I take the gun apart and look at it after I've been shooting a bit, it's still there, so that means it's working, and it's not going to dissipate like oil would or a lube. So internal, I think that's all I did on that. And then for the external, you guys probably noticed the trigger is not stock. I hate stock Glock trigger shoes, because for some reason they think it's okay that the trigger bar, the trigger safety right there, does not go flush whenever you pull back on the trigger. I don't understand that on a stock Glock. So that thing it's like, yeah, quit being a pussy. I get it, but it's digging into my finger like crazy every time I fire. So I did the Johnny Glock's Vex trigger shoe, and you can see that it's a convex trigger shoe with a little bit of a pattern on there. And you know, whenever you press that back, it goes completely flush. I've got 2 or 3 of these on different guns. So that with the Ghost trigger or Ghost connector, you can see that it's a nice break. I don't know what the weight is. And then it's a nice crisp reset. One more time. Boop, nice click. So I just like it whenever a trigger is predictable. I don't like it when for my CZ-P07, I'm still getting used to when that double action brake, and I've had some work done on it to make it a little bit better. But I'm trying to get used to exactly when that thing is going to fire. This gun, I know exactly when it's going to go off and exactly where my reset is. Because the way that I've been trained on how to do this at some classes is, as soon as you fire, you go back and you get back on the wall. Fire, out on the wall. Fire, out on the wall. So I like to know right where that wall is at, and that way you don't have an accidental discharge. A lot of people think of an accidental discharge as like out in your holster or pointed somewhere else. You can still do them when you're pointing down the range where the gun goes off because you pulled the trigger and it went off before you meant for it to. So I don't like that. I like to know exactly when the gun, especially when in rapid fire, you probably will have noticed that. But I like to know exactly when that gun is going to go off. The other thing that I did was, and I didn't mean to get the extended, but I think it's Hive. Is it Hive Technology or Strike Industries? I'll put it down in the description if I'm getting it wrong. But anyway, it's a nice, I think it's aluminum. It's already got a little cut on the cut on there, but I don't care. I look at these things as tools, so I don't really care. And it made the mag release a little bit better, because if you don't know, on Gen 3 Glocks, they had that really skinny vertical mag release, and this one just made it a little bit of a nicer rectangle, squarish release, and it's really easy to install as well. I did get a Ghost, the cap that goes in there. You can order that from them just to fill that in. I did have on the stippling job, he did do an undercut. You guys probably already noticed. Undercut, and in the front there a little bit. I kind of like that being there. I know some holsters need that for lockup. Smooth this out really nice. So the thumb or the middle finger gets under there really nice. I've never had any Glock knuckle or anything shooting this gun. I haven't really shooting any stock either. But so all in all, this gun, I feel like I was just looking at it one day and kind of calculating in my head, and it was somewhere around $1,500, you know, overall. And I'm a big fan of a lot of these guys on YouTube, so I was like, let me see what I can do to this Gen 3 Glock 19 and kind of trick it out and see what I can do to make a little bit of a fun project. I'm not going to do that anymore. I got a baby coming and whatnot, so I'm not going to be doing that kind of stuff anymore. But I'm just so happy with this gun. Abner at Tier 1 Citizen, which I'm a big fan of his channel. If you're looking for a YouTube channel that has just completely practical, useful information that's not trying to be tactical and show off for, you know, social media and all that, but Abner's been to, I think, over 80 classes, rifle, pistol, shotgun classes and whatnot. And I get my slings from him. He makes these really nice bungee slings. And anyway, he's the one that was talking about the Doug Preston stuff. So I was like, I wonder how much that is. And it was a little pricey, but it was worth it, because that's how I got the RMR cut on the slide. I think I forgot to mention that earlier, but obviously I got the RMR cut on there. I almost didn't do it. I was almost going to make this gun iron sight, and I was like, well, let me just get it on there just in case I wanted. And before I even got the slide back, I already ordered the red dot, the RM04. So you know, it is what it is. We spend a little more money on some stuff than we should, but and that's why I like Shadow Systems, because you're spending around $1,000. They've got their Foundation series out that's less. But you're getting a lot of these kind of upgrades already, a lot of these cuts and whatnot, and you're saving yourself a lot of money. Obviously, a lot of the money's going into the optic and slide cuts and whatnot. But if you get a Shadow Systems, you don't need to have anything done to the slide. They all, I think, pretty much come with a slide cut in some way, shape, or form. So that you do get a little bit better bang for your buck. You save yourself $500-600 just by getting a Shadow Systems gun. But I have a Gen 5 Glock 19, and I've done a few things to it, but nowhere near as much as this. Usually I would do Talon grips on things, but I really like having this on here. I don't have to worry about anything. Even the Talon grips have never come off. They've never started peeling away or anything like that. But I just wanted to have this one good to go, ready to roll. It's one and done. And then what I also did, and I recommend for you as well, you know, if we're thinking, you know, apocalyptic, crap hits the fan type world, find yourself like a slide kit, of slide parts kit on wherever. I forget where I found mine. I'll put it in the description if I can remember where I got it. But it's all the parts that go into a Gen 3 Glock 19 slide. So you just get whatever it is for your gun. And that way, if any of the parts happen to fail on you, you know, which they shouldn't, but after a time they can, and anything can happen, you've got a backup part. If your extractor breaks, you can't, that's a, single shot gun at that point? Does it even work? I guess, I think it's just a single shot gun. So it's a good idea to have backups of all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I should do that for the frame as well, for the internals on the frame. But anyway, if you guys have any questions on this gun, let me know. The trigger might be a little light for some of you, especially if you guys are Leos. I have a Leo friend who has shot this gun, and he was like, man, I love that trigger, but I would never be able to carry it because it's just too light for them. When I say light, it's not like it's 2 pounds. It's got to still be 4 or something. I should find someone that has a trigger pull gauge so I could actually see what it is. But if you guys have any questions, let me know. I appreciate you watching, and I hope you appreciate these more unedited videos, and I will try and keep doing them a little more. I get a little bit of a kick out of posting this stuff on YouTube. So I appreciate you watching, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.